Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhare Jaya Girivaradhare Jaya Girivaradhare Jaya Girivaradhare Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Gaurnitai ki, Shri Radha Govinda ki, Jai Gaura Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavatyuttama Shloke
Bhagavatyuttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Śrimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 29, Text 15. Let's try to repeat the verse. Nishevitena nimitena
Nishevitena nimittena
Nishevitena nimitena
Nishevitena nimittena
Swadharmena mahiyasa
Swadharmena mahiyasa
Swadharmena mahiyasa
Swadharmena mahiyasa
Kriya yogena shastena
Kriya yogena shastena
Kriya yogena shastena
Kriya yogena shastena
Nati himshrena nityashaha
Nati hingsrena nityashaha
Nati himshrena nityashaha
Nati hingsrena nityashaha
Nishevitena mitena
Nishevitena nimittena
Swadharmena mahiyasa
Swadharmena mahiyasa
Kriya yogena shastena
Kriya yogena shastena
Nati himshrena nityashaha.
Nati hingsrena nityashaha.
The brave ones.
Nishevitena nimittena
Nishevitena nimitena
Swadharmena mahiyasa
Swadharmena mahiyasa
Kriya yogena shastena
Kriya yogena shastena
Nati hingsrena nityashaha.
Nati himshrena nityashaha.
Nishevitena nimatpittena
Swadharmena mahiyasa
Kriya yogena shastena Nati hingsrena nityashaha. Nishevitena nimittena
Swadharmena mahiyasa Kriya yogena shastena Nati himshrena nityashaha. Ladies. Yeah. Swadharmena mahiyasa
Kriya yogena shastena Nati hingsrena nityashaha.
Nishevitena nimitena
Swadharmena mahiyasa Kriya yogena shastena
Nati himshrena nityashaha. Nishevitena nimitena Swadharmena mahiyasa Kriya yogena shastena Nati himshrena nityashaha. Nishevitena
Nishevitena
executed.
executed.
Animitena
Animittena
without attachment to the result.
without attachment to the result.
Swadharmena
Swadharmena
by one's prescribed duties.
by one's prescribed duties.
Mahiyasa
Mahiyasa
glorious.
glorious.
Kriya yogena
Kriya yogena
by devotional activities.
by devotional activities.
Sastena
Shastena
auspicious.
auspicious.
Na
Na
without.
without.
Atihim shrena
Atihingsrena
excessive violence.
excessive violence.
Nityashaha
Nityashaha
regularly.
regularly.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A devotee must execute his prescribed duties, which are glorious, without material profit. Without excessive violence, one should regularly perform one's devotional activities. Purport. So the purport is little long, so we'll just make it into few parts. One has to execute his prescribed duties according to his social position as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. The prescribed duties of the four classes of men in human society are also described in Bhagavad Gita. The activities of Brahmanas are to control the senses and to become simple, clean, learned devotees. The Kshatriyas have the spirit for ruling. They are not afraid on the battlefield, and they are charitable. The Vaishyas, or the mercantile class of men, trade in commodities, protect cows, and develop agricultural produce. The Shudras, or laborer class, serve the higher classes because they themselves are not very intelligent. From every position, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Sva karmana tam abhyarchaya. One can serve the Supreme Lord by performing one's prescribed duty. It is not that only the Brahmanas can serve the Supreme Lord and not the Shudras. Anyone can serve the Supreme Lord by performing his prescribed duties under the direction of a spiritual master or representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one should think that these prescribed duties are inferior. A Brahmana can serve the Lord by using his intelligence, and the Kshatriya can serve the Supreme Lord by using his military arts. Just as Arjuna served Krishna. Krishna was a warrior, and he had no time to study Vedanta or other highly intellectual books. The damsels of Vrajadam were girls born of the Vaishya class, and they engaged in protecting cows and producing agriculture. Krishna's foster father Nanda Maharaj and his associates were all Vaishyas. They were not at all educated, but they could serve Krishna by loving him and by offering everything to him. Similarly, there are many instances in which Chandalas, or those lower than Shudras, have served Krishna. Also, the sage Vidura was considered a Shudra because his mother happened to be Shudra. There are no distinctions, for it is declared by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita that anyone engaged specifically in devotional service is elevated to the transcendental position without a doubt. Everyone's prescribed duty is glorious if it is performed in devotional service of the Lord, without desire for profit. Such loving service must be performed without reason, without impediment, and spontaneously. Krishna is lovable, and one has to serve him in whatever capacity one can. That is pure devotional service. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here Srila Prabhupada explains about the universal nature of devotional service. Devotional service is above, pure devotional service is above every material conditioning. meaning that no matter in what kind of circumstances we are, we can perform devotional service. There is no situation in this world that one cannot engage in devotional service if he desires. There is no such kind of situation. This is the greatness of devotional service. It's maybe the only thing which is really universal. Everyone is fighting to establish his position as universal position. But in fact, if we see all material positions, they are all very narrow-minded and not suitable for each and everybody. Whereas devotional service has such a nature that practically everyone, doesn't matter from his conditioning, it doesn't matter from his religious ideas, it doesn't matter from his social status, he can engage in pure devotional service of Krishna. And this is the glory of devotional service. Now it's very interesting that Srila Prabhupada, he translated this word bhakti as, how did he translate it?
Devotional service.
Devotional service, yes. Many great scholars, they may say, well, wait a minute, bhakti means devotion, that's it. Where are you getting this service there? There is no service, it's just devotion. Express your emotions, express your feelings. But then Srila Prabhupada wanted to be very precise in his definition. That's why he translated devotional service. Why? Because practically expressing feelings without a particular service is useless at the end of the day. Like you have the girl and the boy goes to the girl and says, I love you, I love you, I love you. But practically never do anything practical. Never buy flowers, never bring her to a restaurant. And then at the end she's telling him, okay, if you really love me, at least throw out the garbage. I mean, do something practical. So, devotion is meant to be practical activity for the pleasure of Krishna, for the pleasure of the Lord. And that's why here comes this important point. We have to know what is our duty, what is our service, what is our activity that we are going to perform for Krishna. And here Srila Prabhupada explains about these different natures. Actually, these are different mentalities, different people with different conditioning and different mindset. And it is very, very useful to know who are we, where are we standing. Why? Because it is very important that we have very clear identity. And if we don't have very clear identity, if we don't know who are we and what we are supposed to do, then this is called how? Huh? Ignorance, Maya, yes. The modern term is identity crisis. You don't know your identity, so then you have identity crisis. You don't know who are you. If you don't know who are you, you don't know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, you are very confused. You are very confused. So that's the problem. If you are confused, you don't know how to engage your energy. That's why it is very, very important to know what is our identity. So now from spiritual perspective, does anyone has any doubt what is our identity? Shastra is saying we are Servants of Krishna. Yes. Nitya Krishna Das. So that's pretty easy. Okay, I'm a servant of Krishna. I'm a spiritual living entity. I have to use my energy for the service of Krishna, and Srila Prabhupada is saying more specifically, this loving service must be performed without reason, without impediment, and spontaneously. So in other words, it should be without ulterior motivation, with pure motivation. Should be non-stop. Should not be like, okay, one day in the month I serve Krishna and the rest 29, 30 days they are for me. And this is pure devotional service. It's not really like that. It should be uninterrupted. Whatever we are doing in our spiritual practice should be uninterrupted. Like for example, if you want to become good in sports and you go to do training, like you are training football, and you are training once a month, how good you are going to become? Maybe. But you may be very talented. Still you cannot become very good. Because those who are really good, they say, to become really good in something, like generally we think it takes 80% of talent and 20% of practice. But those who are really good, they are saying, no, it's the other way around. It takes 80% of practice and 20% of talent. So even like in material activities like sports, to become good, you have to be there every day, doing the thing at least few hours every day. Then you become good. And in devotional service, in the same way, if someone is serving every day, then it becomes very powerful. I remember when first year when me and Pandava Prabhu, we went to India, their way of performing devotional service, we went to Mayapur. So their way of performing devotional service, it was very surprising for us. Why? Because living in the West, we were used to the model 5-2. What does it mean, 5-2?
5 days working, 2 days off.
Correct. 5 days working, maybe working hard, but then you have 2 days for you. And these are mine 2 days. I'm deciding what to do with them. Okay? Even Krishna cannot tell me what to do with these 2 days. Now we went to Mayapur and we saw these people, they don't have a free day. I mean, how do you live without a free day? I want my free day. I want to decide what to do with this free day. So then I spoke with some of the brahmacharis there and I said, well, I mean, you're doing so much service every day, you don't need like a free day just to relax a little bit, your mind, your body. And they said, well, Janivas Prabhu and Pankajangri Prabhu, the head pujaris here, they are establishing the standard that serving Krishna means Nitya Seva. Nitya Seva means eternal service or non-stop service. So they are saying, if you want service, yes, you can get it. But that's your service. It's no one else's service. You gotta do it. So let's say if your service is to offer lunch to the deities and make noon arati to the deities, that's your service. Death or alive, you have to do it. I mean, I guess if you are like completely finished, sick, then someone will take over. But generally, there are no excuses. And that was new idea about devotional service. So then later when I started reading more and then I came to this description that devotional service should be a haituki apratihata, without interruption, then I got it. Okay, I understand. Then one time later with Pandava Prabhu we were visiting Ahobilam, this holy place in India, the residing place of Lord Narasimhadev, very beautiful place. And there in many places, like in the stone, in the mountain, you can see like a caves, small caves, and then there are deities of Narasimha. And many of those deities, they are self-manifested. No one made them, they just appear there. And devotees are worshipping them from a long time. So there are special pujaris from Shri Sampradaya, and they were doing their service, and we started conversation with one of them, and we asked, so, like, how do you do it? Like, this is a mountain. He said, yeah, I'm living in one village like 20 kilometers from here, and in the morning early I'm getting my bicycle and I'm like biking for 10 kilometers, and then there is a bus, I'm catching this bus, and then I come to the bottom of the mountain, and then I walk for like, depends which Narasimha, half an hour, 1 hour, then I do my puja, and then I go back. And that's my day. And we said, okay, and what about your free day? Like, how many days you come here? And he said, free day? No free day. What do you mean free day? And then I figured it out and I said, Nitya Seva? He said, yes, Nitya Seva, Nitya Seva. So it's somehow like common in these circles, in the serious Vaishnavas, that actually devotional service means devotional service. That's it. You have something and that's your devotional service, and you do it every day. So this little bit turned my idea about devotional service. So yeah, Srila Prabhupada is specifically mentioning here that should be free from like selfish motivation, should be non-stop and spontaneously. What does it mean spontaneously? Well, now we are doing devotional service, now we are doing different spiritual activities because Shastra is saying it's very good for us, and because our Guru Maharaj is saying it's very good for us. We may not have really the realization how this is good for us. We may not always have the taste, but because they say so, we are doing it. But the idea is that gradually, by doing this Nitya Seva, devotional service, we have to acquire strong taste. And then we are doing it not because someone is telling us to do it, we are doing it because we like to do it and we want to do it. Like for example, some young kid, the parents, they tell him, okay, you gotta do some sports, something you have to develop physically, so they bring him somewhere for whatever, like soccer or baseball or cricket. And he's doing it, but in the beginning it's not really fun, because like you have to do it a little bit like a training. Every day you have to go and you have to do certain particular things, and he doesn't like it. But then gradually when it becomes good, then actually he wants to do it. Then nobody has to tell him that, okay, you have like training and you have to go for your training. You want to go. You are actually putting this on the first place in your priorities, because you like it. So it's supposed that devotional service at some point should also become such. You are not doing it because you have to do it, you're doing it because you like it and you want to do it. It's very, very important. So now let's speak a little bit about our identity in devotional service, our identity in spiritual life. Of course, we know we are spirit soul and we are servant of Krishna and we have to serve Krishna. But then when it comes practically to the question, how exactly, many devotees, they don't know. They wonder, like, what is my occupation, Prabhu? What is my varna? What is my ashram? Well, ashram is very easy. Let's start from there, isn't it? Either you are like a brahmachari or student, you are living in the temple, you are studying the scriptures, you are doing whatever your authorities are telling you to do, and you are really living for the benefit of the mission. So either you are that, or you are living outside and you have quite some independence, but then you have to make sure that you are connecting all your activities with Krishna. Or you are someone who had some independence, but then he figured it out, okay, now I want to be more and more dependent again on the mission. someone who was putting lots of endeavors, maybe not directly in devotional service, but now he wants to start performing again more direct devotional service. Or you are completely dedicated to the mission. Nothing for me, everything for Krishna. So basically, these are the situations. Brahmachari, family person, grihastha, vanaprastha, or sannyasi. Someone is in the beginning of his life, he is putting serious endeavors to develop his spiritual life. Then at some point, he can make his choice. I will just go on like that for a whole life, if I like it. Or I feel it's a little bit too tight for me. The size of the shoes is too tight for me, so I need a little bit more space for myself. I need more independence. Okay, then one can have that. But then this situation kind of, naturally it will require much more activities which are not directly connected with Krishna. So one has to expand his field of activities. He has to earn his own livelihood. And doing this for some amount of years, 25, 30, then at some point he may come to the realization. If he is following properly the process, he will come to the realization, actually it's not worthy. It's not worthy. Anyway, I'm eating like 4 chapatis a day, 1 scoop of sabji. So why I have to work so much? Let me dedicate all this energy for Krishna. So then he comes to the moment that he starts decreasing his material needs. For 25 years, one was living completely for others. Then for 25 years, one is allowed to live for himself, but giving something for Krishna, always connecting his activities to Krishna. Then for 25 years, one should start decreasing his material needs and attachments and possessions. And then, at the end of life, perfectly speaking, he has to be ready to completely surrender his life, everything for Krishna and nothing for me. I'm property of Krishna and he can do with me whatever he likes. So this is like when it comes to ashram. Now when it comes to varna, what is my varna, Prabhu? Am I a brahmana? Am I a kshatriya? Hero? Am I Vaishya or simply a Shudra? What is my situation? Well, like it's not so difficult because for someone who is a serious devotee, already biggest part of his life is he is Brahmana. And for the 3 ashramas, they are only Brahminical ashrams. So, if you are a brahmachari, your varna is naturally Brahmana. That means your main occupation is studying and Brahminical activities like puja. Even if let's say you're doing book distribution or you're doing Harinam Sankirtan, these are also Brahminical activities. You may do them like a Brahminical activities, or you may do them like a Vaishya activities, let's say, if you have this tendency, or like a Kshatriya activities, like, yo, come here, give me $5. I'm telling you, give me $5, I'm training karate 20 years, okay? You can do it this way also, but the activity itself is Brahminical activity. So if someone is a Brahmana, or if someone is a Vanaprastha, or if someone is sannyas, basically his varna is Brahmana. That's it. There is nothing else. Only if someone is a family person, then he has to go in these different varnas. He has to figure out how he is going to maintain his ashram, how he is going to make his money, practically speaking. What is his nature? What is the easiest way for him to make his money? To make them by studying others, by studying and by teaching others, to make his money by giving protection to others and making organization, administration, to make his money by just having some independent business and being ready to take the risk to make lots of money but also to lose lots of money, or neither of the three. One doesn't want to take the risk neither in the Brahminical sphere, neither in the Kshatriya sphere, neither in the Vaishya sphere. That's why he just wants to be dependent on someone, and he knows at the end of the month I'll get my money, and yeah, I'm ready to do anything and everything, whatever they ask me to do. So someone who is not ready to take a risk. So basically it's more consideration of family people, how exactly they are going to make their money. Other three ashrams, they are doing their duty and they are taken care of. Someone is there to take care of them, practically speaking. Like generally these are the family people, they'll provide for them. So from this perspective it becomes very, very easy. Who am I and what is my duty, what I'm supposed to do. And okay, of course, in these three ashrams, Brahminical ashram or Vanaprastha or Sannyasa ashram, there is some consideration what is your nature, just how you're going to engage in your practical daily duties. Because in our lifestyle, if we are sadhakas, if we are living as a serious devotees, the first, 5-6 hours of our day, they are already fixed as Brahminical hours. Yes? Is it true? Is it so or not? So the moment you get up, you start doing Brahminical activities. Preparation for Brahminical activities like washing your teeth or taking shower, putting clean clothes. All this is preparation for Brahminical activities. Then you do the Brahminical activities, like you are singing for the Lord, you are doing puja, you are chanting the holy name, you are studying scripture. All these are Brahminical activities. And then it comes time for breakfast. Breakfast, in our case, is also part of the Brahminical activity because it's part of the worshipping the deities.
Brahmana Bhojana.
Yes, Brahmana Bhojana, one of the duties of the Brahmana. So basically, till 10 o'clock, job done, Brahminical. And Srila Prabhupada also established that ideally in the evening we should have another at least 2-3 hours which are Brahminical hours. That means you'll come back, you'll take a shower, you will again ideally put clean clothes, and you will take prasadam and you'll do some study of Shastra, maybe puja, or maybe Gora Arati. So it's again meant for Brahminical activities. And then basically you have few hours in the middle of the day. Some of the devotees, they'll be very comfortable doing this also Brahminical like job. Like it can be also studying and teaching, it can be Harinam Sankirtan, it can be book distribution like direct Brahminical activities. Or some of them, they may need to do something else. Let's say they have very active nature, they have to engage this active nature. So they will do some organization, some management, taking care for the devotees who are doing the Brahminical activities, like arranging whatever practical they need for their lifestyle. Or some of them, they'll have a little bit this Vaishya tendency. They should see that some profit is being made. So they can engage this nature in the service of Krishna. Like they can do business for Krishna. Someone can be a brahmachari, but he can have this very strong Vaishya tendency. So he has to engage it in service of Krishna. Okay, then he'll do in the temple service. That is basically producing some money. Let's say he's in charge for the gift shop of the temple.
Fund collection.
Money collection, correct. Different kinds of businesses, but the profit from which directly goes for the deity. So basically he's not taking anything for himself. So we can say he's although making business, he's again acting on this like Brahminical platform because everything goes for Krishna. Or some devotees, they, after let's say doing 4 or 5 hours of serious like Brahminical activities, only chanting and reading and this and that. They have to do something physical, like they are nature research, they are like strong people, they are eating like serious food, 7-8 chapatis for breakfast, like they gotta do something, like they want to exercise their muscles. So they just can move things around in the temple, and they'll feel very satisfied, very happy, because they have this need. They have to do something, they have to move something, and they feel happy from this. So like that, from this perspective, it's not so difficult to understand how to engage yourself in devotional service. Like sometimes devotees, they come in this like huge dilemma, oh, what is my nature, what to do, this, that. Actually, it's not so difficult to figure it out. Because anyway, like majority of our devotional life is just Brahminical activities. Then if you have some other need, okay, dovetail it with Krishna, with other activities of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. So let's finish the purport. Another significant phrase in these verses, Nati Him Shrena, with minimum violence or sacrifice of life. Even if a devotee has to commit violence, it should not be done beyond what is necessary. Sometimes the question is put before us, you ask us not to eat meat, but you are eating vegetables. Do you think that is not violence? The answer is that eating vegetables is violence, and vegetarians are also committing violence against other living entities, because vegetables also have life. Non-devotees are killing cows, goats, and so many other animals for eating purposes. And a devotee who is vegetarian is also killing. But here, significantly, it is stated that every living entity has to live by killing another entity. That is the law of nature, jiva jivasya jivanam. One living entity is the life for another living entity. But for a human being, that violence should be committed only as much as necessary. A human being is not to eat anything which is not offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yagya shishta shina shanta. One becomes freed from all sinful reactions by eating foodstuffs which are offered to Yagya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee therefore eats only prasada, or foodstuffs offered to the Supreme Lord. And Krishna says that when a devotee offers him foodstuffs from the vegetable kingdom with devotion, he eats that. A devotee is to offer to Krishna foodstuffs prepared from vegetables. If the Supreme Lord wanted foodstuffs prepared from animal food, the devotee could offer this, but he does not order to do that. We have to commit violence, that is a natural law. We should not, however, commit violence extravagantly, but only as much as ordered by the Lord. Arjuna engaged in the art of killing, and although killing is, of course, violence, he killed the enemy simply on Krishna's order. In the same way, if we commit violence as it is necessary by the order of the Lord, that is called nati himsa, not violence. We cannot avoid violence, for we are put into a conditional life in which we have to commit violence. But we should not commit more violence than necessary or than ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here in the second part of the purport, Srila Prabhupada is discussing this point about doing violence in life. And yeah, very nicely it is explained that it doesn't matter who are you, if you are part of this material world, you have to do some violence to survive. That is the law of this material world. Now the question is, are you doing this following the orders of the Lord, or you're doing it whimsically? If you're doing it whimsically, you have to get the reaction from this. If you're doing it because of the order of the Lord, there will be no reactions. You'll be free from reaction. Whatever the Lord sanctions, it is free from any reaction, good or bad. If we are doing something whimsically, then we'll have to get the reactions for ourselves. That's why in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Yat Shastra Vidi Mutsrija Vartate Kamakarana Na Sa Siddhim Avapnoti Na Sukham Na Paramgatim. If someone is acting whimsically, not according to the instructions of Shastra, he will not achieve perfection, na sa siddhim avapnoti, na sukham, he won't achieve happiness, na paramgatim, neither he will achieve, what is paramgatim?
Supreme destination.
The supreme destination, yes, neither he will achieve the supreme destination. So it is very important to follow the orders of the Lord. And Krishna is saying, I don't want to eat these untouchable substances. He is very particular what he wants to eat. And devotee, he wants to take Mahaprasadam. That's why he is offering to Krishna whatever Krishna wants to eat, so that Krishna sanctifies it. Yagya Shishta Shinashanto. Everything what we are doing should be part of yagya, of sacrifice. Should not be whimsical activity. This is the idea of bhakti. That's why bhakti is activity anushilanam, which is following authority. Anu, following the authority of the Guru Parampara. If we do some activity whimsically, even in the process of devotional service, there will be some consequences. We have to follow authority. That's very, very simple. One spiritual master, he was telling an interesting story. He just joined the movement and he saw some walnuts. And he decided, okay, I want to eat them. And for some reason, I don't know why he decided he just to eat them. And he started trying to open the walnut with a knife. And then another devotee came and told him, don't do that, you're going to hurt yourself. And this devotee, with his American pride, said, I know what I'm doing, relax. And then next moment, the knife just cut his hand. And then he said, then I realized the most important thing in Krishna consciousness, always you have to follow authority. Don't do any activity if it's not authorized by your authority. So he said that was a lesson for a lifetime for me. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for your attention. Any questions, thoughts, reflections? Please take the mic and speak on the mic so that the people can listen online.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I was just thinking about this point Srila Prabhupada often brings up regarding a Vaishnava does the needful. So sometimes it's possible that, we have our particular natures. Someone has a Brahminical nature. But due to too much attachment to that particular nature, one isn't willing to adjust themselves for a higher cause. Sometimes that could be possible. It could go for anything. I'm just using the Brahmana nature as one example. But in some circumstances, there's a need, and we may need to adjust according to that need, even if it goes against our nature, for the purpose of serving the Lord. So can you speak about this principle of how a Vaishnava is able to adjust for the service of the Lord, even if something is outside of his general natural disposition? You understand what I'm saying?
Very nice question. Basically the question is, we have our nature, but sometimes just something has to be done and someone has to do it. And what about that? Do we just have to follow our natural tendencies, or we have to do it because it should be done? A very nice thing you brought as a part of the discussion. Yes, we have our nature, our tendencies, and the general principle is that we have to be engaged according to them. Because then we'll be steady, we'll feel happy in devotional service, and we'll get a good results. Because when you do something that it's according to your nature and you are good in it, you're getting good results. So you have something good to offer to Krishna. So that's the main principle. However, as you are saying, sometimes a need will come and the devotee will have to do the things just because someone has to do it. And actually these moments are helping us to come out of our comfort zone. In these moments we are making rapid spiritual advancement. Even we may say these are the moments where we are really performing pure devotional service. Meaning for our level. Of course, some devotee he can be in a different situation, but generally for our level, these are moments that are helping us really to start acting on a platform of pure devotional service. Because it's not anymore about me, it's about what Krishna wants. It's a higher platform of action. Of course, if someone is acting for a long time on a platform which is kind of very unnatural for him, it may have a little bit opposite result. One time I asked His Holiness Jadvaita Maharaj this question after one of his classes. So, what is supposed disciple to do? To do what the spiritual master wants, in other words, what is needed, or to do things that he likes to do in Krishna consciousness? And his answer was, generally, spiritual master will take in consideration the nature of the disciple, and he will engage him accordingly, because he wants to see that his disciple is happy in Krishna consciousness. But sometimes the spiritual master may ask the things from his disciples that are above his limitation, above his natural tendencies. Disciples should do it, because these are the moments that really purify the disciple. But he said this cannot be like the permanent situation. Rather, this is a occasional thing, and then the things they come back to the normal. Then devotees, they'll be very, very steady. Like in the past, we can see some devotees, they kind of left the practice, left the movement, because for a very long time they had to do things that they supposed to do, but they were too much above their nature. Like they were stretching, but not a little bit, but so much that at some point it just became too much, and they couldn't handle anymore the tension that was happening in their mind. So I think should be balance between these two. We should be engaged according to our nature, but not getting too much comfortable there. But at the same time, we should not stretch too much, because then we can come to the zone of frying ourselves. But definitely, sometimes we have to do what Krishna wants us to do. And gradually, the idea is to reach the moment where you're doing only the things because you want to give pleasure to Krishna. It doesn't matter what's my nature. It doesn't matter what I like to do. I want to do the things that Krishna wants. So this is the platform of pure devotional service. Like sometimes we offer pizza to Krishna, or fried potatoes, or lasagna, and that's okay, no problem, because these are precious things for us. So we want to offer to Krishna the best, means what we consider the best. But there is even higher consideration. This is what Krishna likes. Maybe Krishna wants to enjoy more to puri and sabji and basmati rice and rasagula and rasamalai and burfi. So let's do what Krishna wants. Let's do what spiritual master wants, because we cannot hear Krishna, but we can very clearly hear the spiritual master. This is the voice of Krishna in our life. So if the guru comes and says, yeah, I just want to see you are nicely engaged in devotional service, then okay, that means he has faith in us. He is giving us the freedom to engage ourselves. But then if we misuse our freedom, he may give us very particular instructions. And then, okay, this is the voice of Krishna, we have to follow. Like one time my spiritual master, His Holiness Kadambakana Maharaj, he told me, actually it was very, very close after my initiation. And he said, so the disciple is absolute property of the spiritual master. Now you are mine. But I'm giving you freedom. I'm giving you back your freedom. But if I see that you are misusing it, then I'm going to send you to Rupanuga College, okay? So I said, okay, yes, Guru Maharaj. Rupanuga Vedic College, you know this place?
Kansas City.
Vasily, he'll let you know. He spent 1 month there. Hare Krishna. That's okay?
That's great.
Yes.
Why doesn't
Can you just take the mic?
Krishna like pizza?
Can you say on the mic?
That's just a final question. Why doesn't Krishna like pizza?
Why does not Krishna like pizza? Well, it depends. Like one advanced devotee, he commented that actually the pizza itself relies chapati. So if you take it from this perspective, Krishna likes. No, I'm not saying Krishna doesn't like pizza. I'm sure in the spiritual world there are many preparations which are like similar to pizza. But it depends on the cook. It depends on the cook. But maybe in some cases, if one examines very carefully the pizza, he may find out that there are many traces of rajasic food. It's not like really the sattvic Ayurvedic diet, which is very balanced. How much grains, how much liquid, how much vegetables. It's a very balanced formula. So when you eat it, actually you feel very light, very nicely, and you can go on. Some people, they feel very light after eating one pizza, but some don't. Some go and sleep like for 1 hour or 2 hours. So it depends on the nature also. But yeah, Krishna likes pizza, no problem. We don't have problem with that one. Hare Krishna. Something else? Yeah.
So oftentimes, devotees will give advice to other devotees about what they should do. And as a devotee is trying to decide what practices to adopt in order to become very serious, he might get different advice from different places, from different devotees. So what's a good way to understand when it's really Krishna telling you something, or if devotees have different opinions, because everybody requires different practices to be individually serious. One person might need to go on Sankirtan 7 hours a day to feel like they're practicing seriously. Some devotee might need to eat less to feel like they're serious or something. We see that. So how do you know when it's different opinions among devotees, and how do you know when it's something that Krishna is telling you?
So basically the question is, different devotees sometimes give different advice, how to know if this is Krishna speaking through them, or they just want to, play the role of a guru or whatever. Well, that's why it's very, very important that we have our authorities in spiritual life. Like all devotees, they are our well-wishers. At least theoretically we have to accept this. So every devotee, by giving us advice, actually he has in mind our well-being in Krishna consciousness. We should know this. Definitely theoretically the things are like that. And especially when something comes like from senior experienced devotees, it is always good to take it in consideration. Now, if someone is telling us something, but it goes in a conflict with something that our personal authority in Krishna consciousness told us, then very respectfully we have to admire this devotee, but at the same time do what our personal authority is telling us, if there is like a serious conflict. Generally, it won't have. Maybe in our mind we will perceive that there is some serious conflict. But let's say if there is, that's why it's always good that we have our authorities in spiritual life, and they are our main authority. Like this, our spiritual master. Also some mentors. It's always good to have mentors, because Sometimes it is like that we see our spiritual master 1 or 2 times in a year. So he doesn't really know what's happening with us. And if we have our direct authorities, they are next to us and they see what's happening with us. We go and regularly speak our mind to them, so they can give us very precious advices what to do and how to do and spiritual. So then Krishna will be speaking through them. Because they are also empowered by Krishna. Each devotee is empowered to a particular level by Krishna. We have to take it that, okay, Krishna now, he is giving me advice. He is giving me some wisdom what to do in my spiritual life. Like in the beginning of spiritual life, we have this huge differentiation between Krishna and the devotees. Yes, Krishna is here, he is absolute. Whatever Krishna says, yes, I accept completely. Devotees, well, depends. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, you don't know. You don't know this guy, what he's actually doing, this, that. But actually when we advance more, when we come to this middle stage of devotional service, Madhyama, Adhikari, then actually we start valuing the devotees as much as the Lord. It's not that devotees are the Lord, but we accept the devotees as a representatives of the Lord. Then the words of the devotee has the weight of the words of the Lord in our life. So then actually we start making very serious spiritual progress when we accept the devotees in this way, as the true representatives of Krishna. Maybe the last thing I will say, actually it is said that Krishna is not giving his mercy directly in this material world. Krishna is not giving directly his mercy. Krishna is always giving his mercy through his representatives and particularly through the preachers. This is how the mercy of Krishna comes in the material world, through the preachers. Whenever the preachers decide they want to give mercy to someone, the mercy of Krishna follows the mercy of the preachers. The acharyas are explaining this, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So it shows the value of the devotees in our life. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Grantara Śrimad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samarita Bhakta Vrinda ki, Bhakta Nazar ki, Gaura Premanande.